Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really high-stakes, transformative six-year period, 1659 to 1665. And look, we aren't just looking at battles here. We are analyzing the actual foundational blueprint of Swarajya and the strategic brilliance that turned Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj from a regional threat into an absolute legendary statesman. So I want you to keep this one question in the back of your mind as we go through this. How do you defeat an enemy you literally cannot face in open combat? Back in 1659, this definitely wasn't a hypothetical question for Shivaji Maharaj. He was facing an enemy that had overwhelming troops, massive resources, and traditional military dominance. Playing by their rules was just a guaranteed loss, so his only option? Rewrite the rules of the battlefield entirely. Section 1. The Gathering Storm. Okay, by 1659, Shivaji's rapidly growing influence was deeply worrying the Adilshahi Sultanate of Bijapur. Their grand solution? They dispatched their most formidable general, Afzal Khan, to just completely crush the movement. And the contrast in their approaches here is a perfect visual for asymmetrical warfare. Afzal Khan marched in with this massive traditional army, relying on brute force and deliberate provocation to try and weaken local support. But Shivaji? He didn't take the bait, not at all. He countered that sheer mass of numbers with totally calm, calculated planning, relying heavily on localized, highly agile forces. Section 2. The Pratapgad Strategy. Shivaji absolutely knew that lining up his troops on an open plain against Afzal Khan would be completely disastrous. So what does he do? He forces the engagement on his own terms, right around the Pratapgad Fort. And the geography here is totally unforgiving. We're talking rugged terrain, incredibly dense forests, and steep hills. This wasn't just a place to hide. The earth itself basically became his weapon. Those dense woods completely nullified the advantage of Afzal Khan's mass cavalry and artillery. By drawing his enemy into this specific spot, Shivaji completely leveled the playing field, stripping away his enemy's absolute biggest advantage. Section 3, November 1659. The infamous meeting. Eventually, the two leaders actually agreed to meet in person near the fort. Picture this. You have two incredibly powerful figures, representing entirely different military visions, coming face to face in the shadow of these hills. The tension must have been just immense. And, well, the meeting rapidly escalated into a sudden, chaotic, close-quarters confrontation. Now, the exact details of that moment are the stuff of legend, but the outcome is what actually shifted history. Shivaji survived the profound danger of that meeting and managed to escape safely. The entire future of Swarajya hung on just those few tense minutes. But here's the thing. This wasn't just about surviving. That escape was a trigger. Immediately after he got away, Maratha forces that had been lying in wait inside those dense forests launched a highly coordinated ambush against Afzal Khan's completely disoriented army. The Battle of Pratapgad was a massive, decisive Maratha victory that absolutely shattered the Adilshahi aura of invincibility. Literally overnight, Shivaji Maharaj's reputation skyrocketed across the Deccan. He evolved from being a smart regional commander into a blazing symbol of true resistance. Section 4. From Victor to Statesman, Expanding Swarajya. Now, winning a battle obviously requires great tactics, but building a state that actually lasts, that requires vision. And following this huge victory, Shivaji actively capitalized on the momentum. For step 1, he didn't just physically expand the borders of Swarajya by securing additional forts. In step 2, he immediately poured resources into robust government systems and significantly improved fort defenses. And crucially, for step 3, he heavily prioritized the welfare of the people living within those territories. This whole holistic approach proved he wasn't just some conqueror passing through. He was building a secure, prosperous, and highly functional society. Section 5. A new shadow looms. The Mughal threat. The sheer speed of this evolution, though, really painted a target on his back. If we look at the timeline, in just 6 years, from fighting for his life at Pratapgad in 1659 to the rapid administrative expansion of the early 1660s, Shivaji had somehow laid the unshakable foundation for the future Maratha Empire. By 1665, he was a major Indian figure. But as you can guess, this undeniable success attracted the attention of the absolute largest power on the subcontinent, the Mughal Empire. Emperor Aurangzeb quickly realized that Shivaji was no longer just a local nuisance. He was a very formidable force that had to be reckoned with. And the stage was now firmly set for an even greater clash. To be continued, Part 5, Shivaji Maharaj, the Mughals and the Agra Escape, spanning 1665 to 1670. So, think about this before our next explainer. How do you protect a newly born state when literally the wealthiest, most powerful empire in the world decides it's time to crush it? Next time, we're going to dive into his intense encounters with the Mughals, the Treaty of Purandar, and his unbelievably remarkable journey to Agra. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this history.